Yes. Hello, beautiful people. Amaka, thank you. Now we're live and you can call your other friends to join in. Good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're joining us from. I am joining from Lagos, Nigeria. So it is my evening. My name is Mutolani Falabi, and I am going to be your super beautiful host this beautiful evening. I'm super excited to be hosting you today. But before we get started, I want you to quickly use the link that you use in joining this meeting. Quickly share it to all the groups that you know you have single friends. If you have your friends, quickly go there and drop this link with them. And you know what? You might just win something. I don't know. Just maybe you could win something. You don't know. If you have sent this link to at least 20 of your friends so that they can join this meeting, please come into the chat room or drop a message for me and say done, done. But at least you would have sent to 20 people. 20 people. And for you to win anything from me, you have to show me proof that you actually shared this to 20 people. So if any of you have done that, I will be super excited to hear from you and see your comment to say that you have done that. One of the things that I love the most is when they talk about love. Let's talk about love, 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 love. And this is Love-A-thon 2.0, and this is single series hosted. This is put together by teamDinmaNedum Nation. This is put together by teamDinmaNedum Nation. So if any of you have been able to send this to any of your friends, at least 20, please let me know. If you have been able to send this to any of your friends, please let me know. This is Love-A-thon. Love-A-thon is put together by a couple who wants to see you succeed in your marriage. You know, a lot of stories about, oh, marriage is scam. You know, the other day I saw an information and someone said, you know what, I'm not even sure I want to get married. But a lot of people were still enjoying their marriage. And Team Dima and Nedu want to show you how to have an amazing marriage. And today's topic is, can your relationship survive marriage? I can't wait for you to learn what is available for you today. So if you have shared with your friends, please let me know. Can your relationship right now survive marriage? Can your relationship survive marriage? I would like to see people who have been able to join. So if you have been able to join, can you please go tell me where you're joining me from? Let me see. I can see Amaka. Amaka, where are you joining us from? For people who are watching already, let me know where you're joining me from. I like to identify you. I like to celebrate the fact that you're able to be here. And for people who still want to win my gift, okay, my gift is still waiting for you. Just ensure that you send this link to at least 20 singles. I didn't say just put in a group. You need to ensure that those people actually join this meeting, and you would have to show me a proof. And of course, there's an amazing gift that I have for you the minute you're able to show me proof that you are here. Okay, while I am waiting for you all to meet me in the chat room and tell me your name and where you're joining me from, or for you to show me proof that you have actually shared this to the group. You know, one of the things that I love about this topic when it says, can your relationship survive marriage? And you know, the whole idea of doing this love-a-thon is for us to build stronger foundation. But I would like to ask, have you ever climbed a stage before? And while you're doing whatever it is that you're doing, you were scared that that stage would actually fall. Anybody? Has it ever happened to you? You're on the stage, maybe you're talking or you're singing or you had to give a speech or anything, but you're on a stage and you are scared that this stage will fall just because you know Now, whatever was used to build that stage cannot hold anything. You're likely going to fall. Please let me know. Let me know. Let me know. Let me know if you've ever had to experience any of those. Let me know in the chat room. I want to read from you. And that is why it is important that you call your friends in. Before I bring up or I introduce Team Dinma and Nedum, to come and share, their experience on this particular topic, can your relationship survive marriage? I want you to actually think about it. Based on what your relationship is right now, based on how you're running this relationship, can this relationship actually, can it survive marriage? Can it survive all that is coming? Can it survive all that marriage is going to throw at it? So I need you all to connect with me. Let me know if you all can hear me. Let me see a sign to say, oh, yes, we can hear you loud and clear. Give me a go ahead and let me know that you all can hear me. Go ahead and say, Tolani, I'm with you. I can hear you. I can see you. And then I can move ahead and know that I am not alone on this journey. Anybody giving me a brief to know? Okay, yes, we can hear you. Thank you. So if you have shared that with anybody, I am still waiting. Okay, I can see a lot of, I can hear you clearly. Okay, so if you all can hear me, then I need you to tell me where you're joining me from because you haven't given me that information. So now that I caught you right there, to know that you actually could hear me. So tell me, I can see Oluchi. I can see Ozurumba. Charles. Charles, tell me where you're joining me from. Let me know. Are you in Lagos, Nigeria? Are you in Abuja? Are you in Canada? Tell me where you are joining me from. Okay, so I'm waiting to hear from you. I'm waiting to hear from you all. Okay, I can see that I have someone here too. Oh, Charles is joining me from Imo. Okay, I can see someone also joining me from Yanagua. Beautiful. Doris is also joining me from Lagos. Beautiful. Okay, so I am going to be introducing Team Nedum, Team Chidima and Nedum. I'm going to be introducing them briefly, but please, while I introduce them, if you have any question whatsoever about marriage, about relationship, about the topic we're talking about today, the topic we're talking about today is, can your relationship survive marriage? I want you to begin to drop down your questions, jot it down, and when it's time for question and answers, I will take your question. Thank you, Fidel, for joining us from Aqua Ibom. Okay, I can also see Showumi joining from Abuja. Thank you to everyone who is joining in. But please send this to your friends. This is important. You are not the only one who wants to have a beautiful marriage. I'm sure you also want your friends to also have a beautiful marriage. Now, let me introduce to you the team who had put this together. Team DinmaNedum are fondly called the king and queen of happiness and human flourishing. They are leading voices in the Nigeria family life coaching sector, bringing happiness and wholeness to individuals, families, and educators who influence the well being of families, children, and youth. They are the lead coaches and trainer at Start Your Marriage Right Academy, a family-centric school where professionals are trained to offer premarital and marriage coaching, and individuals who are coached to build a strong foundation for their marriage right from the start. So you see that the people who is putting this together are well equipped to equip you so that you have a beautiful marriage. They also co-founded Happify Humanity Project with an audacious vision to make the tools for optimal mental and emotional well-being, human flourishing, and meaningful living accessible and affordable to all, to at least 1 billion humans by 2031. So you can imagine they are empowering 1 billion humans. Oh my. Nedum brings his wealth of knowledge and expertise from over 25 years as an entrepreneur, creating sustainable systems for business growth and profitability, a master's degree in guidance and counseling, psychology, a certified practitioner of family systems engineering, a master practitioner of neuro-linguistic programming, a certified results coach and performance consultant, into his work with families, parents, and youth to help them navigate the different phases of their lives effectively. On the other hand, Dima is a rigorously trained and certified positive psychology coach, a 6-second certified emotional intelligence assessor, and a master practitioner of neuro linguistic programming. She serves as a director of studies at the Institute of Family Engineering and Development, where they have trained over 1,000 family life practitioners in the family systems engineering approach to family and nation building. So together, teamDinmaNedum have created transformative proprietary solutions for family and marriage well-being. They deploy research-proven tools to support their clients, develop growth mindset, self-efficacy, and resilient skill to navigate daily challenges and enjoy more beautiful life. Now, some of their signature solutions, as you may know, includes preparing for bliss marriage preparation course. That is for intending couples and newlyweds, and the Flourishing Together Couples Project. That is a marriage enrichment program for married couples and the intentional couples getaway. This is the one that I love the most. A weekend retreat for couples to relax, rejuvenate, and reconnect in a serene resort. Oh my God, away from home. And as part of the Legacy Project, marking their 21st wedding anniversary, they have launched Preparing for Bliss Project licensing program, which raises certified marriage preparatory coaches and licensing them to use their signature Flourishing Marriage Bluetooth. Okay, I can still see people who are joining from Osun State. Don't worry, I can't see you. But I'm talking about the people who have put this together to ensure that marriages last in Nigeria and all over Africa and across the world. This Love-A-thon is one of their legacy projects to inspire, to educate humanity on the science and art of a flourishing marriage as part of their wedding anniversary celebration. So you can imagine a couple who should probably fly away and be on honeymoon for like 1 week, but they've dedicated their time to say, you know what, this is what we're going to do to help humanity. They are well sought after speakers and trainers on individual, family, and marriage well-being and happiness, and have a growing clientele for their coaching and certification programs across Africa, Europe, and North America. They have been married for 21 years. Oh, bye. And are raising 4 amazing adolescents with whom they are living their family legacies of raising other happier families. Okay. So when they're not coaching, when they're not mentoring, when they're not speaking or training people to maximize their potential, they are playing or they are reading with their family and they're rocking their own happiness and dancing. Even though some people don't like it when they dance. Okay, please celebrate with me. Coach or team now. I call her my coach. So they're both my coach. So coach team DinmaNedum, coach DinmaNedum. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Ma, for all that you do for humanity. And we love you. Am I the only one who cannot hear them? Because I cannot.
Oh, my mic was muted.
Okay.
Thank you. Can you hear us now?
Yes, loud and clear.
All right. Thank you so much for that warm welcome. Nedun was saying, are you the one that gave her this long book to read? I said, I know, no, Tolani, but just stop and check. But thank you. That was great. We are excited to be here. So let's get the conversation rolling. But before I let you go to the background, Tolani, I want to ask you a question. Do you think that marriage sustainability can be predicted? So I put you on the spot because you didn't know I was going to ask you this
Yes,
question.
it
What do you
can
think?
be predicted. Yes, 100%.
By going to the babalawo and throwing some carries on the floor, or how can you predict that?
There are systems and structure that one needs to put in place to ensure it's just the same way I was asking earlier. When you want to build a stage that you know that 100 people will stand on this stage, or 10 people or 50 people will stand on this. But depending on how long you want your marriage to last and how good you want to enjoy the marriage, then it is important that you put certain systems in place. So I believe that yes, to have a good marriage, it can actually be predicted. And there are certain systems and structures that, if you put in place, would ensure that you achieve that. Yes, I believe.
Thank you. So we will continue the conversation from there. Thank you so much. And so, welcome everyone. We're excited to be here. I was starting off the conversation, and my most favorite person and partner will also be lending his voice. And like Tolani said, that is where we are starting from, not just because we feel it is a good to know or a good to have, but research has shown that marriage sustainability can be predicted. When you look at studies that have been done on people who are married, we see that a large percentage of people who intentionally checked the things that we're going to be sharing with you tonight in their relationship, even before getting into marriage, increase the chances and the likelihood of their relationship working. So there's a proverb that is said in Igbo land, and I'll say it in Igbo and then attempt to interpret it in English. And it says, na anuma di na nwunye dika igo okirika. Na iya ama ife di n'ime, ma no itoye ife ifo iwelu. And how is that loosely translated is to say that marriage is like buying a bale of okirika. Okirika is second-hand clothes. And typically, when you go to the market to buy it, they don't typically open the bale for you to see or select what is inside. It is after you have purchased it, they will say, oh, this is a bale of shorts, this is a bale of t-shirts. It's when you buy it and then you go home, you open it, that you see exactly what the content is. And that is a proverb that is widely said in the southeastern part of Nigeria, that marriage is like that. You don't know what you're getting into. You don't know what it's going to become. But it is when you get there and you open it that you see what you got. And we, as professionals and as marriage coaches who have been involved in the family life space for 15 years and counting, we say our people did not get that proverb right, because studies and research have shown that you can actually predict how your marriage will go by looking at certain things in your relationship. And that is what we want to share tonight. And we're hoping that you are able to share your questions. So put your questions in the chat room whilst we have this conversation. What questions do you have? And if you're here, you are dating someone or you are engaged and your partner is not here, please just go and tell that person, whatever it is you're doing, you need to be here. Because, like I said, what are some of those things you need to check for? When you're in relationship, what should you be concerned about to check, to know how it is in your relationship right now? Because people rarely change. And it doesn't mean that change is impossible, but you cannot on your own change your partner. Some people will see some things happening in relationship and they say, oh, maybe when we get married, the person will change. No. Is there a possibility that the person will change? Maybe, But you should not bank your hope on the person changing, because there's also a possibility that the person will not change. So, what are those things that the person is doing now that if you look at it, you will be able to know, can we go together? And that brings me to this popular quote from the Bible that says, can two work together except they agree? How does that relate to marriage sustainability? And what is this agreeability that you should be checking for? First, one of the criteria that we feel that, not we feel, we've seen in research is that people get married assuming that the person that they're in a relationship with has the same mentality of what marriage is. So, one of the first basic foundations of checking if this your relationship can survive marriage is checking what marriage means to each of you individually, and if what both of you imagine marriage to be, it can be aligned. So if Nedum feels that marriage is a place where you marry a woman that will just be there and taking care of your needs, attending to everything you want, giving you Congo when you want it, doing everything and answering to your beats, doing whatever you want her to do. That is the ideology of marriage, right? And I am coming that, oh, marriage for me is a partnership where everything we own together, where I'm getting the support of my husband to actualize my dreams. You know that fundamentally there is a problem already brewing if both of us cannot align what we expect and what marriage means to us. So that's the start of it. So what is that? Whilst you're in a relationship, are you talking? Are you discussing? What does marriage mean to you? And then the person is saying marriage is a place where blah blah blah. You were saying marriage is that. Is there any alignment? Or is it that marriage is like going from here to point A, and for him marriage is like going from here to point B? If there is no meeting point, it's already showing that there is going to be issues, because when you get into the marriage, you'll be going in two different um, directions. Another thing where that you begin to look at in marriage predictability is to say, what do I believe about the different areas of marriage? Because let's start with the concept of being unequally yoked with unbelievers. One of the things that predicts the sustainability of marriage is checking if you are unequally yoked. And when we're talking about unequal yoking, we're not just talking about the spiritual part of it, because people have met in churches, two pastors have met on the place of speaking in tongues, firefighting, and bamboozling the devils and the demons, and they get married and they can't sustain the marriage. Meaning that it is not only shared spiritual beliefs that is necessary to sustain a marriage. So, do you know what that person you are in a relationship in believes about leadership in marriage? What does leadership mean to you? What does leadership mean to the person? Do you know what the person believes about submission? What does submission mean to you? What does submission mean to the person that you're married to? Do you know what the person believes about roles and responsibilities? Or is it the one that you'll be at home putting your leg on the table and then the man comes and gives you one dirty slap? Because you are thinking that what you believe about roles and responsibilities is what he also believes. So you need to be checking how yoked are you together? Can you really do this journey on the level? Because fundamentally, how you show up in marriage is a reflection of your beliefs, first of all, about marriage, your beliefs about your role as a partner in that marriage, and your beliefs about the role of your partner in the marriage. So these three elements: what you believe about marriage, what you believe about yourself in marriage, and what you believe about your partner in marriage. And if both of you do not have aligned beliefs, beliefs that can meet somewhere, it's already a disaster for marriage, because none of us, every one of us, does things from the place of our beliefs. So that is one of the things that can predict how sustainable your marriage is. Now, when you look at this, there is a, you know how you have different things that can predict something, but there's a major part of it. And the major part of it that we have found out from our marriage, from the work we do with couples, is the blend of the chemistry and the compatibility. Because if I ask people now, what do you think make marriage work? They'll say, oh, effective communication, oh, being able to resolve conflict, oh, growing intimacy, oh, enjoying a good sex life. What else? Money. Everything that you can think that makes a couple enjoy marriage is at the mercy of this basic sustainability factor, which is their chemistry slash compatibility mix, because that is what differentiates you from the other person. So I'm going to just give a brief of what it's all about, and then my husband will come in and we will build on that and invite our guest speaker to now go deeper into each of those things. So when it comes to what sustains a marriage, it is about the level of excitement, the level of energy, and the level of ease that you're already enjoying in the relationship. So if you're in a relationship with someone, and of course, every relationship will have times that they don't disagree. There will be times that, communication may go south and somebody steps out of the line, or somebody speaks to someone unkindly. But you will know if in your relationship you have more bad times than good times. If you've been in a relationship, for example, for 3 years, and in the 3 years you have fought, you have quarreled, you have carried face, you have doubted this relationship, you have been like, which mess am I in, more than you have actually enjoyed the relationship, then you should pay attention to what we're discussing today. Because no relationship is perfect, but you can predict if your relationship will have a good success in marriage if the happy times, if the happy moments are much more than the sad moments. You are in relationship already, but you cannot even agree on tiny practical things. Like even the littlest thing you need to work on, it just blows out into argument. This person is quarreling, this person is doing that. You're wondering, what are we doing here? You're in a relationship with someone, and when you people are apart, you don't even feel like you are missing the person. He might as well be gone for 6 months, and you're like, I beg, let him carry his wahala and be going. How are you going to do marriage where you're going to be with this one person for years? Let's imagine you are 25 or even you are 30, and you're in a relationship that wants to lead to marriage, and you marry this person and you spend another 40 years of your life or even 50 years till you are 80. You want to be able to check, can I live with this person? So let me start with the chemistry part of it. The chemistry speaks to your emotional connection, the level of excitement in your relationship, the level of energy in your relationship, how you look forward to being with each other, or it's like you're avoiding. I've seen people in relationships, they avoid being together because many times they are together, it's a quarrel, and you want to get married. Look, you're going to wake up in the same house with this person
every day.
so it's not that you can't escape anywhere. You can't say, oh, let me take a break for 6 months. Let's not see for 1 month. You are going to see this person every day. So if already in the relationship, you're dodging, you are wanting to be alone, because chemistry and emotional connection should make you want to enjoy each other's company. You want to spend time together. You want to do things that you are passionate about, things that you have shared interest in. But then you see it's not there. And many times we see that lacking in relationships that are arranged. Somebody say, oh, you are of marriageable age. Ah, my auntie's son is also of marriageable age. They match make you. But you already know that it's a struggle to have even the basic conversation with this person. Why do you want to tie your life to such a person? Because you're going to be bored. You're going to be lonely in the marriage. Or is somebody that you're in a relationship with, you don't even enjoy the person's company. Or even you don't feel free. I was reading something today and somebody said, if you want to check that your relationship with working, check if that relationship makes you feel seen. If you're in a relationship where you have to hide yourself, where you cannot be comfortable to be who you are, where you are ashamed that if you present the authentic you, this person will cringe, this person will not be able to do life with you, where you feel shut down, is that a relationship you want to take into marriage? Or you're in a relationship where you don't feel heard. Before you even talk, they've shut you up. Before you even talk, the person has told you it's not your fault. It's me that brought myself to even be in a relationship with you. Before you even talk, you're trying to, organize your words because you don't know what to say that will trip the person off, or you say things that trip the person off and the person is tripped off, but you don't even bother. So it could be the one at the receiving end, or it could be the one that is giving it, but it's a relationship where you don't feel heard. Do you think that relationship will survive in marriage? Do you want to be in a marriage where you cannot express yourself? Where you cannot speak about your opinions, where you cannot even defer? Because I always say, people say, oh, she likes to argue. And I said, do you know what argument is? Argument simply means I'm presenting my perspective that might be different from yours. That does not mean we are fighting. But if you have a perspective and you cannot share it with the person you are in a relationship with for fear of being put down, ridiculed, shouted at, laughed at, mocked, or shamed, is that a relationship you want to take into marriage? Or a relationship where you don't feel suited? You are in a relationship with somebody, but when you feel angry, you can't even say you are feeling angry because you'll be judged for it. So you stifle your emotions. You belittle your emotions. You repress your emotions. You cannot express yourself because you don't feel free. And even when you're having challenges and you're wanting the person for moral support, physical support, emotional support, you can't even get it because the person is like, get a life, grow up. Why are you a baby? These are things that small children go through and they recover. What's doing you? So you are even ashamed that, so how I'm feeling is that I'm not supposed to feel that way. So you don't even feel suited in the relationship. Is that a relationship that you want to take into marriage? Or in a relationship where both of you cannot even make joint decision? You are in a relationship with someone, you are living separate lives. Let me tell you, the separate lives will continue in marriage, particularly depending on the stage of your relationship. So if you're in a relationship that it is a struggle, more struggle than joy to sustain that relationship, you need to pay attention to what we're discussing today. And you need to, as a matter of fact, take the relationship chemistry compatibility assessment that you have access to at the Start Your Marriage Right Academy on Telegram to check the mixture of the chemistry in your relationship and the compatibility. So I'm going to just wrap up on some of the things. So when you talk about chemistry again, beyond, because people feel that once I'm having sex with somebody, we can go into marriage. That is why I say to people, sex should not be what you're consigning about in when you are dating, because there is a way sex can blind your eyes to the true things that you should be looking out for. Because chemistry is beyond sex. So I think I'll just pause here and hand over to my husband to share the other things whilst we now get ready to invite our guests. Let's really go deep into this. Can that relationship of yours, the way it is right now, can you beat your chest and say, if we get into marriage, it will survive? Or you want to take a chance and say, we have been dating for 7 years, we have been dating for 6 years, I cannot waste these years I have invested. The number of years you will be in marriage is much more than 7 years. That a broken engagement is far better than a failed marriage. So, sweetheart, take it on.
Okay, thank you, Dima and Tolani, for starting at a very good pace and state. And We are discussing about marriage sustainability and predictability, and it's not something new. Actually, it's old school. If you ask my parents how did they prepare for marriage, they will tell you that their families and their fathers and uncle went out to check the other family, to check how people marrying there are able to take care of their loved ones, how they solve conflict, whether they disagree a lot, whether they have fight a lot, whether there are people that are living in peace with their neighbors. They check those who are already married in that family. How happy are they? In fact, from my observation, the lady has to even go to the intended bride's place to live early, maybe for a month or two, with the mother to observe things around and come back with a report to her home parents and relatives to say, I can live there. I think I can be happy there. So even before science and technology reach our own side, our forefathers has been looking for sustainability and predictability of marriage by the history of the family that their loved ones are going into. They use the data, the information, even sending spies, asking neighbors, how do these people live as a family? And they use that as a measure to know if their child could cope and be happy in such a relationship. So today, science is just bringing data in such a way it is more simpler and more predictable. It's not that these things doesn't happen before. And because of that, today's generation think that parents far back are not in tune, and therefore they don't look for these signals, these signs, and all these things we are discussing now. But we thank God that we are bringing it to your front to check these things yourself. Even though you don't have people who may check them because you met the person in the city, you met the person online, there are things you can use to check. And these are the tips that we are giving you tonight. And so one of the things I want to share is, why are men afraid to commit to a marriage? Why is your boo saying, well, let's keep waiting? Why you look at all the things surrounding him? He has a home, he has a job, he has a car. Why is he afraid to commit to the next level? Why are some men who already have seen whom they love, who they want to share their life with, who they even think they're going to have a happy marriage, yet they are still standing still and wondering what will be of this relationship? So I have seen men who are already in their 30s. And then when people ask them, why are you not getting married? They start giving you a lot of excuses about their friends who are married ahead and their complaints. And they think based on that, they just can't commit ready. So what are these common fears? The truth is that everyone has a fear to a level, but knowledge helps you to reduce the fear. The things we are sharing here allows you to reduce the fear so that you can approach your marriage with faith, with that conviction that there's possibility, there's predictability that this marriage will not only work, but can be enviable and can be happy. And so one of the things men always think and fear when it comes to commitment to now make it a blessed union is loss of freedom. Before getting married or before you go actually into the marriage proper, the men usually hang out, go to where they are, stay anyhow they like in their house, eat what they like when they like, sleep, wake up, come back. Nobody asks them, where are you? Where did you go? What are you doing? Why did you take certain decision? They are like free, the bird in the sky that can fly anywhere, make any decision. In fact, to some extent, some can choose a girlfriend today and bounce that girlfriend tomorrow or next and choose another one because there's no level of control. It's free for all. So having lived this lifestyle, having experienced this extent of freedom, they are now beginning to wonder, if I now get a wife, especially when they're in a relationship already, and you have started the control. Why didn't you call me? When I called you, you did not answer me quickly. Why did you wait for 4 hours before answering me? Where are you now? Who are you with? So imagine in the relationship already, you started posing this threat of the man beginning to think, I'm losing my freedom. That we are making him to think to make decision quickly. while the person is afraid to make the decision. And so even in the relationship as a lady, understand that nobody loses himself because he's getting married to you. In fact, marriage gives us a platform to fully express all our potentials and possibly our goals and dreams, because it's a partnership. And so for a man there who thinks that you are going to lose your freedom, no, rather you are going to grow into responsibility, because any person looking out for you to an extent show how much she cares and love you. In fact, the person is protected and nothing happens to you because you are a treasure. You are a gold mine. And because of that value, they want to actually make sure you are safe wherever you are. Nobody wants to be a widow early. Not even for life, talk less of being a widow early. And because of that concern and precious requirement from women, their concern is about your safety. So you are not losing your freedom. Rather, you are stepping up to a bigger responsibility. The second one is fear of failure. Because failure, brings a man's esteem down. Failure makes a man think, so I can't make possible what others are making. Failure is a show of, brings his identity down. Failure makes him to doubt his ability and capacity to do and pursue a goal. And so because of the recent statistics of failed relationship, separation, everywhere, online, offline, men are afraid and say, wow, is this what we are going to face? So it's trying to look, will I even sustain this relationship? Can I be there for the long term? When I'm frustrated, is quitting the option I have? Apart from just the failure, the trauma of the failure, this laughing and the criticism of the failure, able to say that you are not man enough. The disgrace in the failure is something the man is afraid of. And adding to that failure is also the cost implication of the failure. Like somebody in social media, a couple, a lady just broke the relationship 1 month to the marriage. At 1 month to the marriage, there is a lot of cost implication already. The DJ, the hall, the ashebi, the invitations. Imagine what has been put in together. Now, imagine when a man or a lady faces the divorce. They are now fighting over custody. They are fighting over property. So this is a reason why some men are afraid to, make that decision and be in a committed relationship that will eventually be a marriage. But can you bring that stability, even in courtship? Can you bring that idea that I can think with you, I can walk with you, I can endure with you, I can go in the long run with you? And probably this will make the man be faster in making the decision to say, can I put the engagement ring? The third one is financial failure. Responsibility. If a man is struggling with the way Nigeria is working now, he's struggling to feed himself, he's struggling to sustain himself with all the house rent, all the things that are surrounding it. And the woman is asking, can you even take care of me? Do you have so kind of amount in your account? Do you earn a certain kind of amount before you can even ask me for a marriage relationship? This is already a threat. Because the man is thinking, can I have a person who we can pull resources together? Who we can, through our own complementary efforts, we can share bills. Yes, a man can be responsible for so many things. But again, what if he falls sick? What if he loses his job? What if he loses business opportunity? Does he have a backup in a wife? So it is not just about filtering the bills. Is that this world already and this economy, no matter where you are, is highly unpredictable. But can he find solace in somebody who he can have a comfort that even when this go wrong, I have a partner who can sustain us while I'm trying to recover? So are you that person if you are a lady? Another reason is past experiences and trauma. Because already some men are being in certain relationships where they face a lot of traumatic experiences they have not recovered from. And so when they see a nice lady, a beautiful lady that can be a wife material that's still doubting the goodness. They'll say, oh, she's still pretending. She is still pretending. She is still pretending. In fact, when I put the real her will show up. And this will also make that one fear. And so there are other things I didn't cover, but because of time, I just touched a few that are major reasons why most times some men who are matured, who are financially stable, who have the intellectual power, who have everything it takes a man needs to make a marriage start, still find the person dragging his feet to say, wait a little. If you are that lady over there, can you calm the fears of that man to put that ring in your finger? Thank you.
Okay, so in a moment, we'll be inviting our guest speaker. Thank you, sweetheart.
Mhm.
Because one of the things that from what Nedum shared, it's if you don't identify the fears you have about marriage, even whilst you're in a relationship, to address it, you will carry those fears into marriage and is going to affect how you show up in the marriage. So I have a question here. Somebody is saying, what is the difference between dating and relationship? I don't know, from the context you're asking the question is like it's semantics. Because if you're in a relationship with someone, it connotes that you're dating. So it's similar, because in the context of what we're saying, can your relationship survive marriage? It already shows that you are dating, you are in a dating relationship. So you could qualify it to say dating relationship, because you cannot just have somebody in your environment or your community that you know, and we're now saying, can your relationship survive marriage? By virtue of the question, it means that this is someone that you are either dating or you are in courtship with.
Yeah.
But let me bring up the young man who will be joining us to do this justice to it. At least, thankfully, our guest speaker does not have gray hair, because they might first say, oh, madam, you're talking old school. That one is what happened in your Gen X. This is the time of the Gen Zs and the millennials. So let's get another millennial that will join in the conversation so that we can take the ball rolling. So yes, who is joining us is that young man smiling, and you may know him as Coach Mazi. Mazi, this is your profile. If I read this profile to you, close. We might just close the session and go. But I want us to know, everybody to know that Mazi is a passionate, very passionate person, helping people be their best and express themselves when it comes to relationships, when it comes to personal success, and also when it comes to faith. So Mazi, over the years, has been over 2 decades of active youth mentorship, leadership, and ministry, inspiring young people globally. He's not just anybody, but he's also trained and certified. He's a certified family life practitioner and a certified Christian counselor with many other certifications. So Mazi also shows up where he runs his counseling company and the Single and Ready Club. So that's a virtual community that is committed to upholding the family institution by inspiring meaningful relationships and successful marriages via training and coaching. So Mazi, I'm putting you right at the spot immediately. We started this conversation by saying this thing called marriage, that people
Yeah.
say you don't know what you are getting into until you get into it. Is there a way? Because we on the side of the thought that marriage, you can actually predict how your marriage will go by looking at how your relationship is going. So
True.
Mazi, are you saying you people are speaking what I don't know? What is your position? Is
All
marriage
right.
sustainable, predictable?
Okay. Thank you very, very much, my dear coaches. First of all, before I'm even answering question, I consider this a privilege to be on this side of the conversation with you both, because you've been very instrumental to my growth in this space. So for me to be speaking or sharing podium with you, I beg you, but it can only be good. So I'm really grateful to you. Thank you so much. Okay, yes. So yes, about the question, yes, there are ways to predict whether or not marriage will work. It is possible for marriage to be sustainable. It is very possible. You know, let me even just give this background. I mean, we have both of you to look up to. You've done this for 21 years, and clearly it is working. It is beautiful. That is why you're able to inspire the rest of us and train people and reach out, But my parents, by God's grace, I am one who God blessed to experience the intentionality of marriage and blissfulness, and I saw that firsthand in the home where I grew up. And I'm saying this because my parents did not have all of the scientific terminology and, as it were, the names, the nomenclature, the style, the arrangement of all of these things we are saying. But everything we teach was exemplified in the way I grew up
Yeah.
as a child. Everything. It was very intentional. In fact, let me give a quick example to express that point. We had systems in the house. We, the children, from as small as I can remember, there were responsibilities and roles shared for everyone according to your age and size. There were values that were taught us, like this clear example I want to give. As a child, then maybe primary one, I remember clearly there was this book, like a register, and every evening when we come back after devotion, parents will ask you, okay, were you kind today? Were you polite today? Did you help somebody in need? Do you understand? I mean, all of those values, they were there, and it was a time of accountability and bonding for the family. So perhaps they're asking me, and I was trying to just dodge and just say, yes, I was a good boy today. But my elder brothers are there, and they'll say, no, you were very rude to us today. You did not greet me, things like that. So it was a time of accountability and learning. And importantly, there was a reward system tied to it, which also brought in financial education also, because at the end of it, you had points, and your points would translate to money. And they had these storage devices where everybody saved their own money. And then on Sunday, you're told to count it and bring out a tenth of it for your tithe. So we learned all of those things from small beginning, So now, when people see how some of us have turned out, and they're just wondering, oh, you guys are so fantastic. I tell them it was not automatic. It was
Yeah.
a process right from time. So that's just to buttress that, yes, it's not an old school thing. It's not, it's very real. Marriages can be predictable to succeed or to fail.
So I'm in a relationship with this guy. You are saying that there is a way to predict that if we turn this thing to marriage, because people are asking, these people look so great
Yeah.
from what we're seeing. They seem to be doing well. Then they get married 1 month. And if you check the statistics, particularly in Lagos, you are seeing that. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can. Even
Okay. You are saying that the number of people who are filing for divorce, especially in the first 1 year of getting married, has increased over the last 15 to 10 years. So somebody is here listening to us, and we are saying that marriage is success and sustainability is predictable. Can you begin to say
yes.
what are the things that they need to check in their relationship to know how predictable, how successful their marriage is going to be?
Thank you so much, Ma. Yes, there are actually things that they can look out for. No marriage fails suddenly. No marriage fails suddenly. Neither does any marriage succeed by chance. There are always those pointers. And I'll break down some of them, just a number of them. One of the very key ones, is what we call shared values and beliefs. This is very critical. You see, it's not cliche, it is real. Do you guys believe the same things? Are your values similar or the same? And when we speak about values, values are those things that you regulate your life based on. Beliefs are those things you hold to be true. Let me tell you, if you are not united in values, in your beliefs, you definitely are not going anywhere. It cannot work, because marriage is a long-term thing. This is where a lot of people get it wrong. It's a long-term thing. All right. People use the activities that they do, in relationship, to think that that is just only that would sustain them in marriage. So let me explain what I mean. So in your relationship, I mean, you go out, you have a nice time, you try to put up best practices, what I call best practices. You don't want to offend him, you don't want to offend her, all right, and just so that I beg, let me just get married, because so many people do. Let me just make it into marriage. If I can cross into, yeah, I'm fine. But you see, when you now cross in, you discover that that artificial life was not sustainable. There were things your partner was doing that you had zero tolerance for, but you said, let me just make it into marriage. It will change later. And then you get in and you discover that, first of all, nothing is about to change. This person is just okay being themselves, and you're the one who is irritated and turned off by it. And then you start trying to force them into the kind of person you want them to be, because you never took time to check those values or even harmonize it. You see, so the point is that there's something called shared values, shared belief system. And what it means is that both of you take time while in the discussion stage of the relationship. Okay, you take time to check these things. Now, let me just say this before I even talk about a few of the other points. Checking values and beliefs, it's not an interview session. You say, okay, you say you want to marry me. What are your beliefs? My own is this, my own is. It's not interview. It is what you observe. It is what you pay keen attention, for. It is what you also bring in discernment, because there are many people who have trained themselves to say the right things. But the thing is, if you don't know it, it will show in character. It's not just by saying nice things, it will show in character. If you say you're patient, you cannot fake it when your colleague you're waiting for your colleague just 2 minutes and you're already angry, already shouting, but you say you're a patient person. You see, it will show in character. You see, so it's not just about asking someone, okay, what do you think about this? Or what do you think about that? That is good. There's a place for that, but it's more about your observation. All right. It's more about discernment. Yeah, as you're engaging with them in conversation, you're checking how well is what this person is saying matching with what they are doing. Let me touch a few other points. There's also, I talked about shared values and beliefs. There's also compatibility and chemistry, which Coach Dimma already spoke to, a while ago. And that is another very key thing. So you see, let me bring it this way. At the relationship stage, before it's marriage, there's a lot of excitement. There's a lot of butterflies in your tummy. It's something new. You're hoping for the best. You're excited about the potentials. That can give you a sense of emotional connection, which we call chemistry. In that chemistry, we're also talking about the physical attraction, the fact that two of you just connect on the same wavelength. You say, when we bring up a conversation like this, we can go 3 hours non-stop, we enjoy the same jokes. That's very good. That's chemistry, right? Now, compatibility is the part where it is a bit more serious. Compatibility, on the other hand, speaks to how well can both of you align in your values. You see that values we spoke about earlier. How well can you align in your values and in your choices? Some people think compatibility means that we are the same, or we want the same thing, or we are, for example, if I'm a doctor, I marry a doctor, then we are compatible. If I'm a lawyer, I should marry a lawyer. If I'm a pastor, I should marry a pastor. No, that's not what we're saying. You don't have to be the same. You don't have to be in the same field, but the point is that both of you should be agreeable. You should be able to see things from the same perspective and align in your choices and beliefs. All right. So compatibility is like the root. It's what determines how long you guys will go in the long haul. All right. Because those feelings, many times the chemistry sometimes are based on things that are ephemeral, things that are external. that could be there today and gone tomorrow. All right. But compatibility is like the root, it is where the real priorities lie. Do we deeply agree on things like spirituality? On things like, I mean, there are going to be challenges in your home. If you don't know, when you get married, you will have tough times sometimes. I mean, it is life. It's not even just, I'm sorry at anybody. It's life. Okay, today you could have a job, and tomorrow one government policy comes up that makes your job gone. You know, what kind of conversations, what kind of connections do you and your partner have to weather the storm? Are you deeply aligned in matters of your faith and belief? If you get married 1 year, there's no child, second year, there's no child, and then your partner is now the one telling you that you have to go and find out what people used to do. I hear that there's one village where if you go to a babalawo and you say, but we met in church. You see, it shows that there are fundamental things in your values that don't align. And like I said, it did not show up suddenly. There were things you did not pay attention to, because there will always be pointers. There were things you didn't pay attention to. Perhaps you were enjoying other things in the relationship, maybe other benefits sexually or materially, and you did not pay attention to the core of your compatibility as it related to your faith. That's just an example for spiritual. All right, there are several. I mean, I will fail us to really touch all these things, but there are several. It goes into every area of life. Let me talk about financial for a bit. All right, someone who believes that, you know, money is, for example, the person who is making the money has to be the one to take all the financial decisions. All right, so it's my money. You don't tell me what to do. I work for. Did you bring this money? Did you bring this money? Did you contribute to paying the rent? I paid the rent. Did I ask you to contribute? Don't tell me what to do. I mean, these are things we see, right? And then somebody who has that kind of belief system, trying to get married to someone who believes that when we are married, though, we should share this thing. Both of us should be empowered enough to work. We should combine our resources to achieve our goals, you know. But one person strongly believes that what I do with my money is not your business, so long as I take care of you. You can see that there's going to be a problem. One person believes that let's plan long term. At a point, we should stop paying rent. We should own our own home. We should own businesses that will be generating funds for us. The other one believes that in this life, you only live once. Flex. It's the money you enjoy that is your own. Chop it. How much have you eaten? You see, there's going to be a problem. You see, so let me just move on. But that's just to give you an example of the fact that you have to align. Can both of you agree that there was a time in my marriage, for example, because of the goal I and my wife had, we went through a lot of personal, what's the word now? When you deprive yourself of certain basic things or certain cool things, let me put it like that, because we had a project. And then after a while, we achieved that project and we are happy, we're still celebrating, we're still enjoying it. What if we were not aligned in purpose? All right, so let me just stop there for compatibility and chemistry. So both of them are important, but you need to understand that you shouldn't look just only at the chemistry, all right? Neither should you emphasize compatibility and remove chemistry, because at the end of the day, marriage is not warfare. It's not only serious-minded every time. The marriage, you know, it's a serious matter. No, you have to be able to play. So why marry somebody you cannot play with? That's problem already. You see, how can you go out there, face all the trouble at work, everything, market, traffic, this and that, and then you come home and you cannot have peace and calm and soothing and, you know, that cool romance? Why? What is that? That's no problem.
Relax, Chemezi, relax. I think I get that, because I was trying to see you tie it together, and you did tie it well. And because, like you said, it's the blend. Marriage is not warfare, like you said. But then, if you continue having disagreements in practical things, you try to share some of the practical areas, spiritual, financial, control, roles and responsibilities, all of this. By the way, before I continue, I want to just ask this question. Have you intentionally sat with your parents and interviewed them to find out what was their mindset behind how they were raised, what informed it, what were they trying to achieve? Because this thing should be documented. Like, your parents need to be put on somewhere where people are going to be going to pay homage and seeing
I'm
them
telling
and
you.
interact with them, because that was just
Yes.
great. And I like that you shared that, because a good number of our parents did well with parenting, but it seems maybe as we're talking of, how we were raised and all of that, many at times it's looking like emphasis is on the what they did not do
Do
well,
well.
that we
Mm.
lose sight of many of the things that they did well. As much as there were things they did not do so well, there are parents that also did well that we should give their flowers,
Mm.
right?
That's
So
right.
I think
That's right.
you should take that home to your parents and say they have one woman that is in love with them, that would like to meet them. As you know, as we were talking, I'm like, we should even do older generation, get people who
Oh
have been married
yes.
3 years
years and
above.
tell
Yeah.
us how they navigated it,
Mm.
how they did all that, like you said, without all of this science,
Yes.
Wow.
which
So
is why I'm deviating now, but I'll come back to this, which is why we,
That's
as who we are, what is something which is something we do very well in my family, is to document our family processes,
mm.
is to document our
Mm.
family systems and what we're doing, because that is what posterity would have. Otherwise, people 50 years coming will say our parents did not, because our parents' older generation did not so much as document. When we say research says, science says, what is science
true.
says? What is research says? Is documentation of processes they did, they tried out, and they saw the result is given, which is why I'm fascinated with what we're building in Start Your Marriage Rights Academy,
Mm.
where we are generating African, Nigerian, indigenous solutions and putting it out there. So thank you for bringing that. And when you were speaking, but you
Thank you
tied
so
it
much.
in, somebody might be saying, so
That
how
was
do I
great.
test this compatibility? I love what you said about observation. I was telling somebody one of the ways to know the person you are with, even before you do the standardized scientific assessments, because there are quizzes, there are questionnaires to do, is to observe. I said, check
Yes.
how somebody acts in traffic. Like
Mhm.
that traffic. Anybody that is dating somebody and you live in Lagos and you are not
Ah,
observing how this person is driving in traffic, you are losing a very priceless learning opportunity.
very true.
Fact, a friend of mine said that this young man who was courting her, wooing her, and coming for her, she was just observing him. And one of the things that made her say yes when he was asking her out was her noticing how he interacts with the security man. And he said
Wow.
he was so kind to the security man. One day, he greets them. He's like, he treats the security man like a human being. And she's like, if this man can be so nice to this person that is not of his
That's
status,
status.
I think it's going to be nice to me that he has something with. And that made her pick up that relationship, because she used her power of observation to observe. And again, also, we have a questionnaire where you are able to take, and you can know the level of your chemistry and the level of your compatibility in your relationship right now, so that you
That's right.
know what to do. I always say to people, honestly, that when you take that the assessment, or even by watching your relationship now, and you know that the level of chemistry in your relationship, and Chiemeze touched on that, chemistry in the context we are talking is not only physical attraction, it's not only good sex, it also involves spiritual connection. You have a spiritual connection with this person. It involves emotional connection. Do you feel emotionally connected to this person? Do you enjoy mutual emotional support? It also includes intellectual chemistry. Are you able to have a conversation with this person and
Yes.
you are not bored? You don't like, you want to sleep up because this person has drained all the little energy in you. You will be miserable in marriage. Oh. Do you have conversations that
Yeah.
stimulate your brain, that stimulate your person, that makes you feel like, and even to a large extent, of course, we're not just saying only chemistry. Sometimes you find that you're even able to finish your sentences. And I'm a sucker for relationship energy and excitement. I personally am not
Yes.
going to do anything that I don't enjoy doing. And I cannot
Yeah.
subject my life to a life of misery by staying in a
Mm.
relationship with somebody that I'm not friendly with. So you want to check that. So if you check your relationship and that is very low, the warning flag is like telling you watch out. Then you now go to the
Yeah.
compatibility part of it. You don't have shared values like Chemeze said. You don't have shared beliefs, fundamental beliefs about life. We're not talking beliefs, religious beliefs. So we're talking, what do you believe
Mm.
about life? What do you believe
Yeah.
about a man? What do you believe about a
Yeah.
woman? What do you believe about
About
leadership?
money.
What money?
Mm-hmm.
What do you believe about children? What do you believe about roles
Mm-hmm.
and responsibilities? Everything that makes for marriage, what do you believe in it? That is where it says, can both of you work together? And you see
True.
that there's disparity. And added to that compatibility is also your life priorities.
Oh
Because you're in
yes.
a relationship and somebody wants to spend the rest of their life chasing mosquito in the forest, that life priority is good. I'm not, no life priority is better than the other. But do you want to do life with somebody that wants to spend months in sea? If you watch Bridgerton, the third season, Penelope was almost getting, let me use that. Some of you would have watched it, right? Bridgerton season 3. She was almost
That's right.
settling for that man. I can't
Yeah.
remember his name, that was always in the sea, that would not be home for 6 months. But because she thought she couldn't attract um what's that? I don't remember the guy, one of the Bridgerton guy, her Bridgerton guy. So she was settling for that young man, but that's not the life she wanted. We've had a situation where people called up their engagement because by the time they got to this level, they found out that what I want from life is totally, there's no meeting point. Like it's like you're going here, I'm going here. It is best to talk about it and to
Oh
see where
yes.
you can align it or to end it. Because
Very
nobody
true.
should get into marriage and lose their individuality. Marriage is not designed for you to lose yourself. Marriage is designed for you to build on your individuality and express your individuality to the fullest. But if I say my individuality is, I want to be traveling the world every month, there are families like that. They don't have a station where they live. But this person wants to settle in Abuja in Nigeria, and you say you want to spend the next 5 years of your life traveling. You know there's already problem. So let's keep that at that. So please take the relationship chemistry compatibility assessment, and you can access it in the resource area at the Start Your Marriage Right Academy on Telegram. So for everybody that registered, we'll share the link
Mhm.
and you can join the academy and take this assessment and see where your relationship is and what you should do. Another sustainability factor for marriage that you begin to check in your relationship is communication. Communication is a predictor of marriage sustainability. So I'm going to direct this question to you, Nedum. If they say that communication is the lifeblood of a relationship, and these people are already in relationships, what are the worrisome patterns? How would you see yourself communicating in your relationship that will tell you, hey, pay attention. If this communication continues this way in relationship, it may likely get worse in marriage. What are those communication patterns that they should pay attention to?
Thank you for that. Like we all agree that communication is key, and
Yes.
if you are not communicating, it's worrisome. But however, is how you also get the feedback in the communication is also important because everybody is actually communicating. Because communication is not just what you say; it's also your attitude. It's also the reflection of your physiology and even the unspoken. Not saying something is still a communication. So, what are the things that kills communication in relationship? And I like to look at the thing that Gottman said the four horsemen, that kills relationship. And one of them is criticism, attack on your partner, attack on the character. So, for example, you're a bit big on the size and you are dating somebody and you say, look at you, your breast is like Yokozuna. Can't you see that other people are slim? You are not yet married. You are being this fat. So by the time you give birth to two children, the door can't be open. And the person constantly, bring this to your face. And this is somebody who wants to marry you. This is somebody who looks at your picture and says, so you can't even do makeup well. So everything you come up with is always criticism. If you come up a bit late, say, so that's how you be coming late. So you are even a late comer. So your life will be late everywhere. So anything you do, there's a criticism. There's a reference to make you look less. And yet you are wondering why you are still in that relationship. So if somebody you are in a relationship cannot encourage you, cannot also see the good side of you, even when there is something he needs to talk about that is not so good, does he say it politely? Does it show he cares, even when it's a way of giving you a feedback? But is he saying in such a way that there's expression of love? There's an expression of respect. That is very important. The second one is contempt. The person mocking you with sarcasm, mimicking you, calling you names, not appreciating you, making you look worthless, as if you consider yourself lucky to be in the relationship. That for the fact he agreed or toasted you, that should be a testimony in your church. That should be a testimony to your family. Making you look as if by coming to your family is saving your family from a generation of where they are that they shouldn't be. Rather, they should worship you because you are not a type, you are not his type, but you are just considering. This person is belittling you. And what will make that happen when you're in that kind of relationship, it will make you always feeling that you deserve him. So when they give you all the shit, all the bubble, you are still coming back. You are saying, well, because he still loves me, he's using contempt to make me sit up. No. One of the beauties of a flourishing relationship is ability to appreciate your partner. Ability to say thank you, ability to say I what you did for me makes me feel joyful when I'm with you. So if that person can give you smoothing words, the person is toasting you to agree in a relationship, in a lasting relationship like marriage, and yet during courtship the best of that person is not coming out. When you now go to the real test, how will that person handle? Because people put their best leg forward in dating relationship and courtship, because you want the person to agree to something that will be there for 50 years, probably 60. So courtship at the time of testing is like a time of toasting. So that is also something you are going to look up. The next one is look at defensiveness. If that person able to accept wrongdoing, able to say sorry, or once you come up with a story or something you don't like, does that person shift it? I give you an example. You are talking with your partner and you said something that is not so good or not so nice, and you come up to say, I don't like the way you talk to me. You say, the reason why I talk to you that way is because of the way you were looking at me. So it's able to anything. There's some people who come to relationship like a lawyer, a defense lawyer in the court. They can know how to turn events in such a way you are wondering, are you okay? So this thing I thought that was wrong, I was actually the one that was wrong. There are people who are so smart on that. And this kind of people, when you have a disagreement with them, it's about win-lose. You must lose in that case. So I've seen a couple whereby somebody is cheating and say, I'm cheating to help you. So that you can sit up. There was a funny one I saw today. A guy said to the girl, why I am cheating is to confuse the enemy, to not know you are the one I really choose. so that people, the devil will be confused that he will not know you are the one. So I'm using all this, to confuse. So these are some of the things that if you don't have a value, somebody can, mess you around and you begin to wonder, are you okay? Are you in your right senses? So these are some of the things. And finally, stonewalling. Stonewall is whereby a situation whereby there's a form of disagreement, the person stops taking your call, stop talking to you, give you gap until you apologize, even when they are wrong. In fact, for you, anytime you come together to enjoy yourself, you go to a restaurant and perhaps they don't have the kind of food you need, and the person say, let's change the restaurant. It's okay, I love this food, let me just eat it. And the person will like, I won't eat again. And you start begging, and he walks out of the place, go off, you call, block you on social media, block you on your phone, not receiving your call until you over apologize. So a relationship whereby there's off and on, there's no level of agreeability, they are always looking like enemies and don't have a short time and meaningful time to reconcile quickly, is a danger zone. And your biggest tool when you are dating, when you are caught in observation. Once you have a high keen of observation, you know when a relationship should not even last up to 3 months, 6 months on thereabout. So you don't even need to wait 6 years only to find out. No, good observation skills will make you to terminate what will not work in a short time. Thank you.
All right, so thank you for that. So you've seen some communication patterns that is worrisome. If it continues like that and there is no change, you need to pay attention to it. So Chemezi, I'm going to be asking you this. Maybe somebody is listening and is identifying some of these patterns. Oh, I tend to talk down on my partner, or I criticize a lot, or I'm defensive, or I like to stonewall, or I have noticed this in my partner. But really, I want this relationship to work, but I exhibit these patterns. What are some of the things you can say to such a person so that they can, work on this unhealthy communication pattern, moving towards more healthy communication? Because we're not saying that this just means that you are doomed.
Yeah.
But if you are now self-aware and see that, this can really sabotage this relationship that I've built so much, how can I change this communication pattern? What would you say to such a person?
Excellent. Thank you very much, Ma. So the person is in a good place because the first thing is awareness. You have recognized that, okay, there's a challenge here. Things can be better. The second thing I would say, which is something the person needs to know, is responsibility. All right. Now that you know that you need to do better, are you willing to take yourself through the process of doing better? Okay, the third thing I would say is learning, which is knowledge acquisition. Because the truth is, you are behaving a particular way because that is how you know to behave. Let me say it again. You are behaving that way because that is how you know to behave in that situation. If you knew better, you will do better. Okay, so there's a saying that if all you have as a carpenter in your toolbox is a hammer, you will treat every situation as a nail. So you are behaving like that because you don't know better. It's one thing to desire to be a better person. It's another thing to seek knowledge, which is where learning comes in, to seek knowledge on how to become a better person. And that is one thing I will encourage you to do by listening to programs like this, signing up for our programs. We have the Preparing for Bliss project. You have to sign up, and then learning generally. Why? Because you need to learn how to now communicate properly. There is a how to it. Okay. Again, I say to people that this is something we see again and again, where somebody says, I don't want to be like this, but they end up behaving like that. So, for example, maybe you grew up in an abusive home, father was shouting down at everybody. You tell yourself, no, I don't want to be a father who shouts at others. But you discover that when you are in a relationship, small thing your babe do, you shout. Then you now say sorry, 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 sorry. You shout again. Oh, sorry, 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 sorry. So the thing there is that you have not you have not replaced that negative trait with the positive one which you desire. That is the place of learning. So you have to tell yourself, what should I now do? One is learning what we call soft communication, soft talk, as against harsh communication. You can learn it. Okay, those are some of the things you want to learn. How better can I communicate with my partner? Instead of communicating out of anger, all right, there's a saying that you don't raise your voice at your partner, rather, you should raise your words. In other words, how else can I say this thing that is not communicating my offense or my anger, rather, is communicating the point I want my partner to understand about how I feel? You see, so there is a way to this thing, and that's why I started with taking responsibility, because it won't come easy. Because right now you're trying to change something that you have been programmed with for a long time. It's not overnight. It's not okay. I promise now I will never do it again, and then from tomorrow you're just a new man in Christ. You know, you will learn the ropes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you.
so there's a
Go ahead. Go ahead. Finish
okay,
the
okay.
thought.
So yes, I'll say that there's a way to learn the ropes, and let me just keep it practical. What I start with identifying those areas that your partner complains about the most, or those areas you have been able to see that I'm not trying in this area. For example, that raising of voice thing. There are people who raise their voice and they don't know that they are raising their voices. But if you're patient with them, let me speak to the person who is the victim now. If you're patient with that, your partner, and you're able to walk that, especially if there are people who in themselves also want to put in the effort to be better, you may discover that these people grew up in environments where shouting was the only way they knew how to talk. So you shout when you're happy, you shout when you're angry, you shout when you just shout because that's all they saw. That's how I mean, and there are genuine contexts where that is the case. Or actually, there are, you know. So you discover that this thing may not be personal, right? Even though I don't enjoy it, all right, but I need to be patient with him while he's learning, or with her while they are learning how to moderate their conversation. And then if you are now the one who is on the erring end per se, okay, you're telling yourself, okay, what does my partner even consider to be shouting? Is what I thought is normal. Oh. So you agree with them, okay, when I talk like this, I'm not trying to raise my voice at you. So anytime you feel like my voice is loud, please, you can signal me. Both of you can have code words, that you use to caution yourself when one person is behaving overboard, or is going, when it's getting to an edge. You can find code words, you can find, things to do. For example, you tell yourself, maybe there's a song. If your partner is talking to you and you just start singing, "Isn't she lovely?" You know that is telling you, oh yeah, calm down, calm down. You're getting to that point. Or you agree to yourselves that once one person says, "Oh, you are right, perhaps we can talk about this later," then it means that, okay, you're getting to the edge. Slow down. Do you understand? So, and this can happen in the public. Nobody knows what's happening, but two of you have sent yourselves a code. "Oh, you are right, my husband." Then you get the message that, okay, it's not about being right now. You're actually going somewhere. But the point is, there are ways to learn these things. So practice soft talk. Let me just use that as an example. Even the Bible says it in the book of Proverbs 15, verse 1, that a gentle answer turns away wrath, but harsh words always stir up anger. Always. So practice that. All right, that's just one. And then any other area where you think you're erring, start learning the requisite skill to replace what you don't want. Because like I said earlier, I'm just sharing that as a principle because of time. What you know is how you will behave. All right. If you want to behave differently, then know differently, learn differently, so that when you check your toolbox, you have different tools for different situations. Okay, that's just how I will answer that in general, so that we can move on here.
Okay, thank you so much. So, in tying together what you have said, you've said that how we communicate, it's I like to call it the three P's of communication. What impacts how we communicate is your parenting, how you were raised, how you observe your parents communicate, your past, because you could have been somebody, maybe, for example, I've seen somebody that said, I was soft spoken, I used to talk very respectfully, but in my past relationship, my boyfriend was very negative. He was always criticizing me. So I thought that, if I'm going to get into another relationship, myself, I'm going to put up a tough front. And so she actually changed from that soft-spoken, respectful to also be giving bass boosts. And that reminds me, I'm coming from a training, and somebody was saying, if somebody gives me hot, madam, I don't know what you're saying. No, me too, I'm going to give the person hot back. And he said that if the person gives me hot, and I sit back and I reflect on how I responded, and I find out that I didn't give the person as hot as the person gave me, the next time we're going to have that kind of conversation, I will ensure that I give you hotter than, yeah, do you understand? So some of us had become like the bad hand that was given us. We have started acting like the people we did not like how they treated us. And we start treating people that way unconsciously. But one thing you also said, your communication is impacted by your personal development. If you know better, you will do better. And so I always say to people, it doesn't matter where you picked your communication style or anything for that matter, but as you're an adult now, you have to take responsibility to reparent yourself. Take the responsibility to reparent yourself and learn how to communicate better. Good enough that at the Start Your Marriage Right Academy, we like to just give you resources that we are practicing that has helped us. And so if you go to, after now, not now, when we end this session, right? In that Start Your Marriage Right Academy, where you're joining us from on YouTube, there's a mini series on communication, how to speak so that your partner will listen to you. So you may not be married. The language in there was said in terms of people married, but you're in a relationship. Use it. Practice that model of communication that was taught there and see how that will impact your communication. So thank you, Chemezie, for saying that. So it's still LOVE-A-THON. We are still discussing, can your relationship survive marriage? So there is one area that I want us to just quickly touch on, looking at the time. So I'm going to, Nedum will speak a bit about that, and Chemezie, let me leave it to the men. Because if I talk now, then go say a woman. Another thing that predicts how sustainable your marriage will be, I think, Chemezie, you have an idea where I'm going to, is this big word. Every time there is an issue in marriage, we hear this word that starts with S and ends with N. So even in the relationship now, your understanding of submission is going to be the same understanding you take into marriage unless you do something about it. So from the research and from the framework that we teach, submission factor is also another predictor of marriage sustainability. So in your own words, both of you, and yes, make a no talk now because they will say they support women. In your own words, and especially looking at the flourishing marriage blueprint, where we have the multi-dimensional approach to submission, what do you say to people that are dating, who are engaged, or who are in a relationship about submission in marriage that can predict the sustainability of their marriage?
Is it going first or going first?
Both of you, the men, decide which one.
Let me
go first. Let me go first. Then my Oga will say everything I did not say. Okay, thank you so much for that question. Yes, that is a big one. And let me even give a real example. It's one of the reasons some young men, it's also one of the reasons, you're talking about reasons guys are afraid to get married. It's one of the reasons that some guys are afraid to get married because they're asking themselves, will she submit to me? And then there are people who have dated had the opportunity to be in a relationship with a lady who is of a better financial standing or placing than themselves. And they refuse to get into that relationship because they believe that because she's richer than them, then she will not submit to them. You see, so it's a very big deal, and thank God you raised it, ma. So I'll say a bit, and my will continue. Submission is, as it were, two words, submitting to a mission. All right, and if you understand it that way, then you see that submission is not in any way one-sided. It's not one-sided. Submission is not woman alone to submit to the man. It is both ways. There is both of us. So this is how I like to put it. Both of us are submitting ourselves to our vision. So we make our vision, we place it in a place where it is higher than us, and it becomes our regulator. Now that is one. Okay. Also, we are submitting to so we talked about spirituality earlier, and when you believe the same thing, then you believe that okay, everything we are doing in this world is unto God, the supreme being, the supreme one whom we submit to. Therefore, both of us also in this union submit to our supreme being. And that's why it's good you believe the same thing. Because if one believes that there is a supreme being, the other one does not believe, there's problem there. When you say let us pray, this one say pray to who or pray what? Get out. So there's a challenge. So both of you submit to your supreme being, you submit to your vision, and then you submit to each other. All right. A basic foundation I would establish is that foundation of equality. When God made mankind, he spoke a dominion mandate over mankind. Mankind means man and woman. No, it's not male. It's not. It's man and woman. All right. He spoke a dominion mandate over the human and said, "Be fruitful, multiply, fill the earth, subdue it. Okay, take charge. Basically, the earth is yours. I've given it to you." That mandate was not given to the male or the female. It was given to male and female who were in man. That's mankind, right? I'm saying that because in the sphere of earth, God does not place man higher and woman lower. All right, those are certain things that cultures have done. However, where submission becomes a thing is that in marriage, wives are said to submit to their husband according to scripture, right? And that is just for the sake of hierarchy and leadership. It does not mean it's not about who is better. It's not about who is stronger. It's not about who is superior. No, it's just for the sake of order. Now, this is an example I like to give. If two people, a husband and a wife, both of them can drive, but they get into their vehicle. So long as they're in that vehicle, at a time, it is one person that is driving.
Mm-hmm.
It does not mean the other person cannot drive.
Mm-hmm.
But the one who is driving at that time is responsible for the decisions of that trip. And that is that's the concept of marriage. Yes, both of you can drive. But in this home, we have agreed, according to God's holy ordinance, that there should be a leader. Now, that leadership does not mean he runs everything. You can be driving and your wife will say, look out, it's like you didn't see that pothole. Or there's that small girl about to cross the road, be careful. Or there's a U-turn there, or there's no sign here. There's no stopping here. You see, there are things you may not see that they will see. And together, both of you are able to navigate. So to summarize what I'm saying, submission is not about subjugation. It is about both of you submitting to a higher authority, God, submitting to your vision, submitting to yourselves. And in submitting to yourselves, what that means is that there are certain areas where one person is better than the other. There are certain areas where we have our unique giftings. So, for example, I may be a spender, and my wife is a saver and very diligent with financial resources. Wisdom behoves on us that in matters of financial decisions in the home, let the one who is more prudent, as it were, manage the resources. Because if you leave it with me, I feel you'll go out right now. I don't buy land for a pay because one person meet me for traffic, share flyer. And he says it's very fine. I don't buy the land. Meanwhile, we have things to do in the house. We have school fees to pay, or somebody just see me and say, I'm hungry. I just square you lunch, sponsor your village because I have the money. You see, I'm a spender like that. But when I discover I have that kind of weakness, then I should submit matters of financial decisions and control as much as possible to the one who is better in that area. And this affects every area of life. In what areas do you recognize your respective strengths? Submit one to another in those areas of strength. Let me leave it here and let my Oga finish work. Thank you, sir.
Oh, thank you, Chimezie. You've done so well in analyzing that with a lot of stories. And I just want to add a little bit to what you said in two ways, and then I'll round up. Is submission is a gift too. When you understand it's a gift, it's something you give to your partner because not based on merit, but because it's something you think will aid the union to move forward. It will aid because sometimes you are more intelligent than your partner in some areas. You are more outspoken. You are more visible. But again, this gift of submission is, can I allow this person lead? Because the leader is not almost the smartest person, but it's also the person who has the ability to accommodate, ability to provide guidance. So when it's a gift, you are saying, let me allow you be this. And that is where I'm also, asking women, sometimes allow it to be as a gift. It will be easier for you to follow suit when you give submission as a gift. And the second one is that submission also is earned. Sometimes you need to earn it by showing leadership mandate, by showing guidance, by showing you know where you are taking the people to go, by showing you have a vision whereby everybody will find fulfillment in. Because when you are a blind leader and you are telling people to, in fact, imagine you are leading people and you are blind and you are about to enter a dish and they are seeing the dish and you are instructed they must follow you. Definitely they will not follow you. Definitely they will not follow you. They will just allow you to either fall into the dish or they try to save you. If they can't, they won't follow you into the dish. And so that's why a leader also needs to see ahead. You need to also provide that opportunity whereby the person submitting to you know that what is submitting to you has also his or her own interest at heart. They are profiting from that journey. They are profiting from that end outcome. Therefore, they'll be willing to follow. So let us not make sometimes the way we preach submission as if there's somebody else that must hear it well. You also take the responsibility of leadership. And when we talk leadership in marriage, we are talking about servant leadership, not a kind of a dictator, not kind of one you must say that everybody must listen, nobody can contribute. You finalize everything. Even when you are ignorant, you still make the final decision. And so that's important for us to understand that even when we are trying to teach women submission, we should also learn that they are watching how we to submit to higher authorities. Because as a leader, you are a leader by modeling. You are a leader by example. And I'll round up with this in such a way that one day I was going out with my son, and he was about 6 years then. And so by traffic, we were supposed to sit at the back of the car. And he wanted to just stay at the front. I'll say, what of, as we are going, we saw policemen, and I told him to hide under. He hid under, I just waved at the police, he followed. So another day, I said, no, stay at the back. He said, no, I shouldn't worry. Once we see police, you get under. Immediately, it hit me like, what am I raising? What am I raising? Is this the kind of son I'm raising? That once something is wrong, he has already advised me what we should do because we have already done that before. So it's the same way when we talk about submission. When you are a leader, you assumed a leader. Are you submitting to authority to God in manner of your conduct? So that the person who is looking up to you say, this person has shown me as a model and example what submission means. And so therefore, let us also raise men to understand that leadership is a servant kind of leadership, especially when you're a Christian, and show by modeling. It will not just make the other one submit, it must make it easier for the relationship to flourish. So that's my addition to what Chimezie has already contributed.
All right, thank you, the men in our lives, for that beautiful one. And somebody is asking, submission in marriage, is it for the woman only or for the man and woman? I think that Charles, Chemeze, and Nedum have answered that. Submission is for human beings. Because even when we look at where the Bible first talks about submission, it says,
Meet
submit
to
one to
another,
another as unto the
the Lord.
Lord. And from what Chiemezi and Nedum said, I just want to tie it in together. Everything they said reflects, of course, what we look at in the Start Your Marriage Right Academy as the fivefold submission principle. That when it comes to submission in marriage, they first of all said there is submission to God. It is easier for either a man or a woman to submit to their partner when they know that this person is submitted to a supreme being. Like what Nedum shared, you are running your life like somebody in honor of God. So you are not demanding submission from me, but your life, you are living it carelessly. What am I submitting to? Which was why he gave the analogy, if you are entering into a ditch, are you going to say, because I want you to submit to me, I will follow you and enter ditch with you? No. If I am in my right senses, I'm not going to enter the ditch, because I'm going to know that that is going to hurt me, and that is going to also hurt yourself. Then it goes to submission to personal mission. It's easier in a marriage when you're talking about giving that gift of submission to your partner, when your partner looks like somebody that has a sense of direction in their life. So if the partner is somebody who does not even know where his life is heading to, like you ask him, what are you looking at in the today? No direction. In the next 1 year, he does not know. Like the life looks scattered, shattered, and all of that. It's going to be hard to give that gift of submission, because that person does not seem to have a sense of direction in his life. If a person that cannot lead himself, will he be able to lead others? Your responsibility is first to lead yourself. You've not demonstrated even 50% that you have a sense of self leadership. It's going to be tough for even your children, for even your wife or anybody to submit to you in the context of marriage. Takes us to the third one, submitting one to another. Like Nedum said, when you are giving that gift, there are things that I always ask people when it comes to marriage and even to life. My big question in my head, maybe because I'm so future oriented, I'm so purpose oriented, I'm always looking at the big picture. What is in this? Am I interested in my marriage moving on to what we want, where we are heading to? Or am I interested in winning an argument? You know, there's some people that take pleasure in having the last say. They know that what they are saying is not the right thing, but they shall want to prove that you agreed to that one they are saying, even if it's for 1 minute, even if it's for 2 days, before they will now come back and reverse it. And somebody said to me, I want to see if she will submit to me. But you're asking her to submit to something that does not make sense. How can you be in a relationship with somebody and you want to just suffer the person just because you want to fan your ego? You want to suffer the person just because you want to appear nice. That already shows that your sense of worth, your sense of security as a person is questioned. So that takes us to submission to shared mission. Chiemeze said that. What is that mission that we have agreed we are doing that has to moderate the way we do life? And I think the last one you touched on it is submission to the one with the leadership mandate. And then Chemeze brought to our attention that the man as the head of a house is for sense of direction, is for sense of order. It does not mean that the man is superior to the woman, because both of you are created in the image and likeness of God. But then God is a God of order. God is a God of systems. So there has to be an order in place. So leadership for men is responsibility. Leadership is influence. It's not about eating the choicest part of the meat. It's not about somebody calling you Lord. It's not about, if you understand it, you go even say, I bet maybe somebody else should do this leadership. Let me relax more. right? Because leadership is a huge responsibility.
It is.
So when your wife sees you submitting to God, sees you submitting to a personal mission, your life having a sense of direction, sees you being submitted to what both of you agree. It's not you agree to something and you don't keep your part. You will not want to do the consequences for it because you say you are a man. Why should another person do their own if you cannot lead with example? Okay, so that makes the leadership easier. And then there's an aspect of leadership that Chiemeze talked about. As much as you are the leader, if we take even our country, Nigeria, where we know that Jagaban is our president, is it Jagaban that does all of the responsibilities in Nigeria? He has people in ministries. So yes, he might be the whatever, but he would submit to the leadership of the finance minister when the finance minister, who knows what he's doing, is saying, hey, this is what we should do financially. If he doesn't submit, he's not a good leader. Because why you put the person there is because you trust that the person will deliver.
Capacity.
So submission to the one with the leadership mandate is also submitting to the one that is in charge of that department, who has shown expertise, commitment, and competence in it. I think we need to move on because this submission matter. So Zurumba, in all of this we have said, we have defined submission, sub and mission, going under an assignment, going under a mission. So submission is when you are allow yourself to be under a mission that has been identified. And if we say that marriage is the coming together of two human beings, one person cannot create a mission for a marriage because it takes two to tango. So it has to be the mission that both of you have created, and you are now saying we are submitted to it, and we are submitted to the one that is leading us on this mission. Olubi said, how do you go about observing your partner if you are not usually in the same location, e.g. a long distance relationship? Long distance relationship requires extra effort. I always say to people in long distance relationship, to maintain a long distance relationship, you have to cut a budget for it. That's the truth of the matter. Budget to spend extra airtime, chatting, budget to even do visits. You cannot be in Nigeria and you are long distance with somebody in UK and all you are doing is talking on phone, doing WhatsApp call. No. If the relationship is 2 years, you must have tried to get your visa, save money, because there is something you can know about somebody when you are closer than when you are far apart. So please, it takes extra intentionality to do a long distance relationship. However, even with observation is also by, we are talking on the phone. Observation is, how does the person respond to issues? You don't really need to be with the person to know that. You are in a conversation. When you disagree, how does the person fight? Some people fight dirty. They know they fight, remain waiting, they go use reconcile. And you're now wondering, you're in a relationship with this person. You are fighting as if this is the end of the life, if this will scatter it, but you still want the relationship to continue. You can see how somebody fights by how their conversation. You can see how somebody, you can observe how the person is intentional about you. I mean, somebody said to me, my boyfriend gave me a timetable when to call him. We're in a long distance relationship. He gave me timetable. You can only call me between so and so time because he's busy reading. I'm like, okay, let's not disturb his reading. But you're in a relationship with somebody, you don't speak to the person for 1 week. Or even when you are speaking to the person once in that 1 week, your eye there inside book. You they read. The small 20 minutes that you say the person should call you. For me, that is something that needs to be investigated. So you can observe how the person treats you, how the person communicates with you, how the person resolve issues, and many more things. And of course, again, we say that this conversation is not ending here. We are continuing this conversation in the Start Your Marriage Rights Academy on Telegram. So you can also join us there. We treat topics every weekend. Our trained coaches come up to handle one issue or the other. We have a space there where people drop their questions. And so every week we're taking one question from the dropped questions and addressing it. So learning continues. So I think we are time don't finish and we never talk finish. But I think we should
Yes.
just end this here. Please, your
Yeah.
last word, Chimezie, your last word, Nedum. If somebody is should and somebody is saying, okay, is the risk worth taking? What do you have to say to somebody who wants to gamble into marriage and say, oh, I beg, let's go and do this thing. What we see, we will navigate. God will help us by the grace of God. What is the risk worth taking? Okay. And before I talk about that, many people are here, they are confused. They are saying, I don't even know. Somebody said to me recently that he has stopped coming to social media, and this is a young man. I say, why? But your work now, you are an IT person, you do. He said, no, make it hard for no court. He comes to social media, one person is doing proposal, one person is doing engagement, another person is announcing this, and he don't do mouth is already paining him, and so he's wondering, is my case different? Today I was on my status, somebody posted something, and the person was saying, God, am I a bicycle? Even if I'm a bicycle, send somebody to ride me. God, am I this? And people are wondering, why can't I find a partner? If you go on Google, one of the search things that people are searching for, single people are searching for, they are not searching how to make money. They are searching, how can I find the right partner? So at the academy, we said, okay, so let's address these issues. What are the things that makes people, start up a relationship and the relationship does not progress to marriage? What are the reasons why people are not getting hooked and all of that? And we created a 6 weeks program, and I've been getting feelers that the name is naming. And so the program is Nadem Go Dey Rush You. And that is to say that after this week's encounter, you say if you are feeling the name, Abby,
I feel am.
after this program, you will become somebody that is desirable, not only for yourself, but you will now know how to attract that person that is for you. Because one of the things you're going to get there in the program is to know what exactly is sabotaging your relationships and why the relationships you start, they know they enter into marriage. What is happening? You also will be able to heal. Last week, we started the conversation on, are you truly in love or trauma attracting? So, we want to help you identify if you have any unresolved emotional wound, because really these things show up in how you show up in relationship, so you will heal from that. Then plenty young people do not know themselves. They are not even comfortable in themselves, and so when they come into relationship, they are presenting the unreal them. So you want to get back into your skin, grow your self security, grow your self identity so that you will be comfortable with yourself. And I think this is one, a lady said to me, this is the one that is making me look forward to this. My team and I will also help you create your attraction blueprint. What is that thing that will make somebody see you and say, okay, I think somebody that is going on this journey, all of these predictors we talked about, you can also get to create your attraction blueprint that will now help you find that person. Okay. So this is a 6 weeks program, and it's the asking price is $50, which is about 75,000 based on what the exchange rate is. But this fine man that is looking at me said it's our wedding anniversary, so we slashed the price to 50% off. So all through this month of July, for those who want to start this program with the next batch starting it August 26th, you can sign up for the program at 50% discount so that you can become the person where then go the rush. So if you registered for this program, you're going to get it in your emails. Please join the Start Your Marriage Right Academy on YouTube, no, on Instagram. I don't confuse, on Telegram, where you can get information on that. So that is my word. Sorry, we are running a bit late, but Chemeze, give me your last word. somebody is listening here is saying, forget all these things they are doing. My grandfather did not check marriage sustainability, and they want to gamble into marriage without checking how these things we have discussed today exist in their relationship. What will you say to that person? Is the risk worth taking? Yes, this is the reason. No, this is your reason. In 5 sentences, if you can
No, no,
do
I
that.
want to be clear first. The risk of getting into marriage without preparation.
The risk
Is
of
that what?
getting into marriage without checking these marriage
Oh, okay.
sustainability factors in your relationship right now is the risk worth
No, don't,
taking.
no, don't take that risk. Don't.
Why shouldn't
Don't.
they take it?
Because
There are four fathers in their village.
they are
Tell
not their
them
forefathers.
your
Neither
life.
are they in their village. You are not your forefather, neither are you in your village. All right. Don't take that risk because nothing worthwhile, nothing ever worthwhile succeeds by chance. Nothing. I'm here to find
Mm,
it.
mm,
Nothing
mm.
ever succeeds by chance. So don't think marriage will be an exception. All right. If you gamble in, you will damage yourself. All right. So please take time to learn these things. It is for you. You're not learning it for somebody. Just learn it for yourself. So please don't take the gamble. No, it could cost you too much that you may not recover from. So please, that's what I would say. Nothing worthwhile succeeds by chance. Marriage is not an exception. If you want your marriage to work, then learn the ropes. Apply yourself to knowledge and to the process and to the discipline, and it will work for you. That will be my last words for today. Thank you.
All right. So Nedum, what will be your last word to somebody who wants to
Uh,
take this chance?
no separation or divorce leaves you without a scar
Mm,
at all. No matter if you say you have healed, you are jumping up, you are off the hook, there's still a residue of scars that will stay there. And if there are children involved, you can still imagine. That past will always connect you to your partner because you are going to co-parent. And so save yourself from everything that will be negative about your present and your future. It lies in your hand. So take the possibility, take that position of knowledge and all these things we have shared, and hopefully you see the best out of your life.
okay, people, I like that. No failed marriage leaves you without scars, and sometimes it takes years to heal that scar. Miracle said, gamble in, garbage out. I'm learning a new one. So I'm going to just thank everybody for being here and invite this young, beautiful lady to give us the vote of thanks and to wrap up today's conversation. And that is amazing, Kamara. So first of all, Chimezi, I want to thank you for tonight. God bless you for everything you've done, and we will continue the work, where in the academy. So over to you, Kamara, to share your learning points and just give the vote of thanks.
Good evening, everyone. So, to start off the vote of thanks today, I want to thank everyone who attended this session of Love-A-thon. We thank you for gracing us with your presence, and I truly hope that we've all learned something. I also want to extend my gratitude to our guest speaker, Mr. Chimezie. My the most important thing I took from what you said today is about when you want to learn new habits or when you want to change habits that you have in your relationship, you need to learn differently. You need to find a new, better habit to replace it with. I think that was particularly insightful. And I also want to thank our wonderful hosts, my beautiful parents, teamDinmaNedum. In all your years, the most important thing that I have learned, and also from this session, is the importance of belief compatibility and having shared values and being compatible and communicative with your partner. And I believe that's truly one of the most important benchmarks of a sustaining and fulfilling relationship, right? And in addition, I also want to thank everyone in the Love-A-thon team, our beautiful graphic designers, our moderator. I think we're all doing a beautiful job to bringing this vision into possibility. And I also want to thank And last but not least, I want to thank our God Almighty, our Father in heaven, for giving us all the opportunity and gracing us with the opportunity to be here today. And I think this session was just really interesting. And I think we've all been able to learn at least three things at the end of today. And I hope I see everyone and even more people at next week's single session. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. We will see you next Sunday. We're continuing the single series, and next Sunday we'll be talking about what plans do you have to succeed in marriage. And we're going to have one of our professional colleagues and somebody I respect and value too much, Mrs. Modupe Hirim, will be our guest. So if you want to now ask yourself, what plans do I need to start making now so that my marriage can succeed, then you need to be at that series next Sunday, and come with your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your fiance, everyone. And remember, LOVE-A-THON, the Nadem go they rush you 50% discount will end on July 31st. The 50% discount is just available throughout this month of July. So if you registered, you would get our emails. And also, please join the academy. You also get more information in the academy. And we're also going to drop the link. I see that links dropped as comments in YouTube are not clickable, but I'm going to get my team to add it. There's a way to add it in the caption or something. Love, now them go they rush you. If you are confused why you are not in a relationship yet, why you start a relationship and it doesn't progress to marriage, if you think that you've been attracting the wrong people, what you need to do to find your own wife, find your own husband, now them go they rush you is for you. It's 6 weeks, is virtual. So you can join from anywhere. Even if you're in a long distance relationship, you can tell your partner to join from where they are. It's virtual. We're going to be having our sessions on Saturdays so that it is okay because many of the young people are working. They said to me, oh, weekday will not work. So we put it on Saturday. That is when we have our session. More information will be shared with you. Do not allow this 50% discount to just pass you by. Otherwise, from August 1st, you are going to pay the full price of 75,000. So why not jump into it now at 37,500? And there is another good news. You can make a minimum deposit that with the link to just lock in your slot. Oh, I want to do this. I want to pay the minimum deposit and I'll balance up all through the month of August is also available. So there is all the resources you need to ensure that you succeed in marriage. We are enjoying a good marriage and we know that marriage success is possible. So let's help you become the most irresistible, the most desirable person anyone will want to marry, and teach you how you can create your attraction blueprint so that you can attract that person that is meant for you. Because maybe why you have not found your missing rib yet is because you yourself is still missing. So join us in Nadem the Rush You, take the 50% discount, and remember, we will see you next week, Sunday, where we'll discuss what plans do you have to succeed in marriage. And sweetheart, your last word?
Oh, thank you for showing up today. Remember, it's still a journey. We have 2 weeks to go, and also the subscription for Dengo de Roshu. See you on the other side this same time next week. Have a fruitful weekdays ahead.
Bye.